A landmark verdict just came in, one of the largest known forklift injury verdicts against Menards in our state. A $5.5 million verdict. Then we have with us attorney Chris MacGillis of MacGillis Law Group that was representing the victim in this case. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Julia, how are you?
Very good. Can you tell me the day that this happened? What happened to your client?
Yeah, so our client was a truck driver and he was dropping off freight at one of Menards distribution centers. And unfortunately, one of their forklift operators was not trained, not supervised, and caused a very serious accident here.
What fell on his head?
Metal pallet racking. So some very, very heavy freight that he was hauling to their distribution center.
Okay, so was he just walking around outside of his truck, like
Yeah, so
unloading?
no, good question, Julia. So he had just gotten done, delivering the freight to their distribution center, was getting out, undoing the strapping that he has to do on his trucking equipment. And unfortunately, what happened was because the forklift operator was not trained at Menards, he came into the area, which he shouldn't have done, which is against known OSHA and safety rules. And in that unloading process, caused some material to fall, and it fell and hit the truck driver in the head.
Wow, what were the injuries to your client?
He sustained a really serious head injury, a significant laceration that left him with permanent injuries.
Okay, so you said in a statement, quote, "We're very proud of this win and what it means for workers and workplace safety in Wisconsin." Now, what does this mean for places like Menards that was in this case and other groups of making sure that this something like this doesn't happen again?
Yeah, thanks, Julia. I mean, that is really why we think this is so important. So a verdict like this, when the jury stands up in their community, what it really means is that they want change. And the evidence in the case was Menards was not following the known safety rules. And so when you have, workers, customers, people in that area, it's extremely important for everybody in our communities that, that the safety rules are followed. And this is the largest reported forklift verdict against Menards in Wisconsin history. So we're really proud of that because it shows that the jury was listening and the jury knew the seriousness of what happened here. And we're really, really proud of hopefully the change that will happen in Wisconsin and throughout other states that Menards does business in.
So, as the follow up, then you mentioned that the jury ultimately did place full responsibility on Menards and the operator. Oftentimes, with these workplace injury cases, Chris, I've seen things get settled out of court before it ever gets to a jury trial. That was not the case here. As someone in law, are you seeing a trend of workplace injury cases going to trial more often than just outright settling?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we're seeing, so at our firm, we specialize in taking cases to trial and standing up for what's right in the community. And a lot of times, in order to make change, you have to have these cases go to verdict, meaning that you have to allow the jury to decide the case on the evidence. Because when a jury of the community says, hey, this isn't okay, this isn't allowed, this is not something that we want in our hometown, I think that speaks volume. Because a lot of times when you have a settlement, those things either have confidentiality or people don't know about them. So one of the things that was important to our firm and to our client as well is that this brought about change. And anything we can do to bring recognition to workplace safety in the state of Wisconsin is something that we're extremely proud of.
We're talking to attorney Chris MacGillis of MacGillis Law Group about this workplace injury case that just ended, landmark case, $5.5 million judgment for his client. So how long, some people may think, okay, I was injured on the job, something may be similar. How long does it take to put together a case like this?
No, great question. So this happened in 2019, and we just got it to trial in 2026. So unfortunately, you may have heard the cliche, the wheels of justice turn slowly, and unfortunately, that is true. When you're facing a major corporation like Menards, a lot of times there are emotions, there are things the court has to deal with, and it does take time to put the case together. But in the end, when you have the truth on your side and you know that you're standing for a righteous cause, it's extremely important to take that stand, be patient, and allow the jury to hear your case so change can happen.
Did the victim take the stand?
Yes, our client took the stand and told his story, and we were extremely proud of that. That was something that we he wanted to do, and he wanted to tell the jury from his perspective what happened and why he was there and why he wanted to have his day in court.
How long did it take for the jury to decide the 5.5 million judgment?
No, that's a great question. So it happened. I think the jury got the case around 3 o'clock, and they rendered their verdict by 5 p.m. that day. So we had the trial start on Tuesday and ultimately concluded by 5 p.m. on Friday.
What did your client think?
Oh, he was extremely happy. He was extremely proud. We were proud of him. We were so happy. I mean, as you can probably imagine, this is a very emotional process. You're exposing yourself. You're forced to testify. It's embarrassing.
Hmm.
It's stressful. It's worrisome, and to put yourself through that, you have to be willing to endure that. And he was willing to do that because he wanted to make a difference. It was important for us and for him that we stand up for workplace safety because in our opinion, Menards didn't do that, and we wanted the community to hear the truth.
So you mentioned that this is a landmark decision and that this could have ramifications. But I am curious to know how you actually believe the verdict can realistically change how these large retailers who have a lot of employees, there's a lot of red tape to cut through, how this verdict can change how they manage temporary labor and when it comes to certifying their forklift drivers.
So under OSHA and other industry standards, certifying your forklift operators is mandatory. That's a mandatory thing. And the reason why that's in place is because forklifts are dangerous. And forklifts are operated at big corporations like Menards, but they're also operated at small businesses throughout the state of Wisconsin. We are hopeful that this will draw attention on the safety and the dangers of forklift, and reminding everyone that if you have a forklift on your property and you have operators and workers using that forklift, that they're trained and that they're properly supervised, because it's important for not only the workers but also the customers and the people that come in and out of stores. And I'm sure you guys have been to a Menards or other type of big box store, and forklifts are around. You can see them, and typically they're moving freight in an elevated position that's oftentimes very heavy. And it's important that those employees know the rules and follow the safety rules to make sure everybody's protected.
He is attorney Chris MacGillis of MacGillis Law Group. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it on a Friday.
Hey, thank you so much, and really appreciate you having me on.